This is day 7 of the 45-day loft conversion challenge. And the main thing we're doing today is applying the resin to the roof structure. We're showing here the resin that will be put on top of the flat roof on the dormer, which will make it watertight. So this is the resin itself. This comes ready-made. You have a hardening agent which you apply, you pour it into the resin, and that's then instigates the chemical reaction, which means that it's then active, and you've got about an hour to use this. So we've got a long-handled roller. But before we start that, we've had to prep the roof surface itself. So you saw in the previous videos that we put some plyboard as the surface for the roof. We then use fiberglass on both the top and the sides. So you can see here the edging is flexible. It's very lightweight. It's just made of fiberglass, and we just put this all around the edges. So you can see there's a defined lip, which means that the water, when it's running on the roof, will be caught by this edge, and that will encourage the water to run down. We've got about a 4% gradient on this flat roof, so the water will sit up at the edges and then come down. So this is the resin as we showed before, big tin of that. We put fiberglass all over the roof structure itself, and then this roller has got grooves in it, so it's a metal roller, and you can see that it's got different lines, and this really this encourages the resin to really go in on top of the fiberglass itself. So this is the plyboard has been covered with sheets of fiberglass, which is literally just fiber, and then we pour the resin on top and push it down with this roller so that it really goes through every single crevice and crack in the fiberglass to make sure that it's completely sealed. And this resin will go rock hard once it's set, but at the moment it's nice and pliable, so we can push it through. And this is quite a laborious job because you can see the size of the roller versus the size of the roof, so it's quite a manual task. But we basically just go over every single inch of the roof, pushing the resin down through the fiberglass so that you've got a complete bond of the two fitting together. So 2 coats have been applied to all of the flat roof. So you can see the fiberglass here, you can see the actual fibres flicking up at the top. But here, where the flat roof meets the original pitched roof, we've put in some fiberglass and also some lead, so we've merged the two to give a complete watertight finish. So the two have been bonded together, and then you can see all across the top here now we've got 2 coats of resin all on top of the fiberglass, so this has formed a complete watertight structure. So everything has been pushed down, all of the resin, the first layer was set, now the second layer is set, and then we just have a quick look across the side here. So where we've built up the lip, this has been nailed on, so you can see the dark patches where the nails were put in before the resin was applied. So we've got an overlapping lip, so this was one full structure forming the side panel, and then we've poured on the resin. This is the top coat that will be applied later, so we'll let those 2 coats of resin set completely rock hard, and then later we'll apply that top coat, and that will be the final finish for the roof. Moving back around to the front section, the pitched section of the roof, just looking at the chimney, the lead flashing has now been completed, so you can see here that we've put flashing all around the chimney to make sure it's entirely watertight. The Velux windows are fitted, all the flashing kit has now been put in, so you can see down the side and along the top we've now put in the water protection, so that's on both the windows. You can see underneath they've got the skirt which laps over the top of the tiles. The piece round the side and the top will actually be fitted underneath the tiles. The tiles will be laid on top of that, and the water will run down the channel either side of the window and will then run off to the gutters below. And then if we move on to the end section, the last few tiles are now being applied, so you can see that all the tiles come in a standard size and are then cut down to size to make the end piece. So we just bring this one here, just fits it in to make sure it's exactly the right size that he wants, and then you'll trim that down if it's not entirely correct, so it might need to be just adjusted slightly to make sure it's in line with all of the other end pieces. So just using an angle grinder to take off the edge of that tile, and we'll bring it back again. And this is done for every single one of these. So that will then be nailed into position, which the nail goes through the tile and into the blue batten that you can see have all been laid out. So just watch this one. It's got the full tile. Bring it over to, just making sure that one's in the right position. Bring it over, measure it up, just mark up where you want to make your cuts. So nice and easy, cut at the top, cut at the bottom, nice straight line. These tiles have got nice parallel fixings on them, so it's easy to follow a straight line. Angle grinder out, and then just trim that tile down. So relatively quick process. All the rest of the roof has full size tiles throughout, so they've been pretty quick to fit. So it's really just a case of finishing off all of these end pieces. A quick look at the front section of the roof. So this is the felt that's been laid on the entire roof. So this has been left deliberately long to overlap into the gutter here. And then the front edge of the tiles, these have all been pushed back up slightly. They're not fixed into position yet. They're not finalised. So this will all need to be straightened off. But you can see how the waterproofing works. The felt here is underneath. That is a waterproof barrier on top of the actual wooden structure. And then the tiles are fitted all the way down so that the water runs fully into the gutter. So you can see this section here has been completed. So they're in position as they should be. This felt will be trimmed off a little bit. And then if you look at it from the side section, you can see that we've laid lead all the way down the side. So the vertical tiles come down, and then there's an impenetrable lead barrier which is tucked up under the tile, and that will be formed into shape as well. So this is still to be finalised. But that means any water that's coming down, it can't run back up into the house. So the water runs down the vertical tiles, hits the lead, and then is passed into this gutter. This section of gutter hasn't been fixed in yet. The clips are in place, but the gutter hasn't actually been fitted. And you can see here, this is the lead waiting to be formed into shape so that the water will all run directly into the gutter rather than having a chance to run back into the house. And you can see up the side the same lead on the section that is adjoined to the neighbour's property. The lead's been put into place here, so again the water cannot get back in. There can't have any capillary action moving it back into the property itself. If we take a look at the side section of the pitched roof, you can see here that they have now fitted the fascia. So we've got a black fascia alongside the inside of the original pitch. And this is really just a nice finishing touch, makes it look very attractive. You don't see all the way all the tiles have been cut. We can see here for the vertical side of the dormer, it comes down, and with the lead that we looked at just previously. But the interesting thing here is that there is a gap between the tiles, and you can still see the battens if you look down the cross section of the roof. So this will all need to be filled in with a sand cement mixture.